I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. Greetings, everybody. Happy Friday morning to you all. It is Thursday night, well, technically Friday morning, which means from the Action Network, we've got the Duck with us. Now, the last time we talked to the Duck here, we hadn't seen any football at that point. We have since seen week 0. We've seen most of the first day of week 1. So we don't really do like reactions here, but there's one thing you'd like to react to that you've seen so far.
Well, in week 0, my biggest takeaway was that UNLV was so out of position defensively. They were just caught with their pants down time and time again against Idaho State's pass attack, and that problem does not fix itself overnight. So I look for Sam Houston to be able to attack that. And I think UNLV also did figure some things out offensively. But today, specifically, I mean, it's been great football, competitive football, a lot of fun action. I think, we saw some of the FBS teams take care of business, and we've seen a few struggle against FCS competition. So it's been a real interesting and fun evening tonight.
Yeah, and I want to give a special shout out to Todd Orlando, defensive coordinator for South Florida. I was singing his praises all offseason, and that South Florida defense, man, 11 hats to the ball. They were flying around out there. I can't believe I didn't bet that game. I liked South Florida. I got scared off, and I didn't bet it, but that was awesome to watch. Well, awesome, I suppose, if you're not a Boise State fan, at least. So here's the rundown today. We've got 9 games to go through with the Duck. Then me and Scoop recorded. We did 5 more, and then Toast will come on and talk MLB last. So that's the rundown. We're going to start off, and Duck, this is all you, because I don't know anything about Western Illinois. I got Western Illinois on the road against Illinois here. The line is 45.5.
Just an absolute bottom feeder in FCS. They're the worst team in the Ohio Valley Conference. They used to play in the Missouri Valley Conference, and they were bad there. Really, what they were able to hang their hat on last season was they had a pretty solid quarterback, and they had a good receiver, Matthew Henry. Well, we saw him star last week for Western Kentucky. They just don't have it in the trenches. Their defense is really, really bad. If you look at all the metrics, I mean, they give up 500 yards a game. They're terrible on third down. They cannot stop the run. Even when Illinois deploys their second platoon, they'll score at will here. I have them winning this by a significantly wide margin. If they don't score at least 52, then there'd be a real problem here for Illinois. So we jumped on this one early. I laid 39.5, but I think we're still good. I think an Illinois team total is good. If you look at the way Western Illinois played against FBS competition last season, they lost against Northern Illinois 54-15, and then they were defeated by Indiana 77-3. So just not a competitive football team right now, and it's just going to be real tough for the Leathernecks. Yeah,
this is a tough matchup. Not knowing anything about Western Illinois, I do know that the Illini should have a very strong offensive line there under Bielema. I'm big on Illinois. I think a lot of people are, though. I don't think that's a hot take to be big on Illinois. I think they have some high hopes this year. So you said you got 39.5.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah, I took that at FanDuel about 10 days ago.
They're 39.5. All right. Let's move on to the next one, which is an interesting one. In my opinion, this is kind of some bad luck for the opener. I'm excited for Drinkall. By the way, it's Drinkall, right? I was calling him Drinkle all summer, and then I heard an interview, and I was like, oh, man, I've been saying this wrong all summer. So it's Drinkall, right?
Drinkall, yes.
Okay. So I'm excited for Drinkall. We should see some kind of shotgun/pistol option spread offense here with Central Michigan. Should be a lot of fun. The type of offense that's tough to defend against. The problem is, if there's one coach that I think is equipped to handle the option, wouldn't it be Coach Ken Niumatalolo there at San Jose State? He was at Navy for 21 years. So I think this is a tough matchup. But I have some thoughts, but I'll let you lead off here. What are your thoughts, Central Michigan, San Jose State?
I lean under. I think if I see a 14 flash, I'll probably take a stab here with the chips. I think we will see a ton of attitude adjustment from Central Michigan. We saw that at the end of the tenure with Jim McElwain, how the program was just descending. They didn't have any sort of urgency or attitude. They didn't play with a lot of heart. And I think Drinkall will instill that right away. You know, you talk about a guy who knows how to scheme it up and get the most out of his players along the offensive line. I think that the run blocking schemes will be ready to go. They have a fantastic running back, Trey Cornist, who transfers in from Tulane, who is going to pop off in this game. I'm not going to necessarily call for Central Michigan to win or even cover. I think they will keep it pretty close, but Cornist is going to shine. You'll know his name after tomorrow night. I think if some of the, they're going to play action off of the run, and they'll use probably – they're going to run some 12 personnel. We'll see some 13 personnel. So those tight ends are pretty athletic. And I think if they can get them into the pass game a little bit, they can move the ball against San Jose State. San Jose is a great team. We've seen the Mountain West look really, really poor up to this point. We've seen Boise look terrible. UNLV has looked terrible. Wyoming looked bad for 52 minutes against Akron. I mean, the Mountain West has looked absolutely atrocious. And it's just maybe that conference is down talent-wise compared to some of the other leagues. San Jose State's going to throw it around. They've got the spread and shred offense, and it worked really well last season. But you've got Trey Lockhart that's gone. You've got Nick Nash that's gone. It's just going to take some time. You'll see a couple missing pieces to the puzzle. They'll eventually get it humming, and I think now is a time to go in and bet San Jose State to make the Mountain West Championship game or to win it. Let's find some odds on them right now, because the rest of the top of the teams at the Mountain West have looked like absolute garbage.
In lockstep with you there. I had said I would consider Central Michigan at plus 14. I really don't like how it's against Coach Ken here to start off. It's a tough matchup. I don't know if the Central Michigan offense is able to get going right away. I do like what you said about Cornist, though. That gave me a little bit more confidence, because I was looking at Labus at quarterback, and the fact that they have a healthy quarterback, by the way, puts them miles ahead of where they were last year. In the second half of the season, I think it was the Bowling Green game. It was the Bowling Green game. They threw out their fourth-string quarterback, who was a freshman. I don't think he had ever attempted a pass before. They had real quarterback situations in the second half of the year. So the fact that Central Michigan's coming into this game with a healthy quarterback, they're already miles ahead of where they were last year in the second half of the season. Not to mention the new offense. There's going to be less pressure on Labus. I don't know if it works right away, and I don't like this matchup, especially considering San Jose State's defense was surprisingly tough last year. They bring back a lot of production in their front seven. I'm a little hesitant to back Central Michigan's offense right away. I do think it'll be tough down the stretch. But completely agree with you on the other side of the ball. I think everyone's crowning San Jose State Mountain West champions. And you know what? After seeing the other, you're right. Maybe they should. But I'm pumping the brakes a little bit on the offense. Those two guys, Nick Nash and Lockhart, and honestly, and the third receiver too, what is it, Trayshawn Hurry. Those three guys, there was their whole offense as those three receivers. Two of them are in the NFL. You don't just replace those overnight. And it's not like San Jose State had any sort of rushing attack last year at all. They were, bottom 25 in terms of rushing efficiency. So you're just going to throw new receivers in and hope it works right away against a Central Michigan defense that I think is going to be improved. I agree. Under, and I'm staring that plus 14 on Caesars down right now. I want it. But I agree with every single word you said there. All right, let's move on to Syracuse. I got a bet in this one. I'll bat lead off. I think it's a bet that the comments are going to hate, though. I took the plus 14 in my pocket. I bet this. I know that when you first glance at Syracuse, the first reaction is everyone's gone. Right? All that offensive production is gone from last year. And yes, I'm not going to try to say that's not a big deal. Of course it is. Kyle McCord's gone. 4 starters on the offensive line are gone. Technically, it was supposed to be 3, but Petrie's out for the season, who was going to start at guard or center. So it's actually 4 starters from last year's offensive line are gone. LaQuint Allen's gone. The top 2 wide receivers are gone. Everyone's gone in terms of the offensive production we saw last year. The thing is, I don't know if the production we saw last year was necessarily all the personnel. I think we have to give some credit to Jeff Nixon. It was his first year there calling the plays. And look, obviously they're going to regress a little bit. You lose that much production, but you don't just walk into a program, put out the offense that finished 7th in the country in success rate per dropback without any sort of creativity. Like, clearly this man is a gifted offensive mind, and I think he's going to surprise some people. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm pretty sure Angeli's been named the starting quarterback, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So I wouldn't be surprised if Angeli looks pretty good. That's the guy that was backing up Riley Leonard last year at Notre Dame. He's been named the starter. I wouldn't be surprised if he's completing passes on this Tennessee defense. And something I want to say about Tennessee's defense, and if you're a Tennessee fan, just chill for a second. I was looking at last year's game logs, trying to get a feel for what I think this defense is going to be. And they bring back a lot of production, but I have some concerns. Number one, there's some injuries here. McCoy, their number one corner, he's going to miss multiple weeks. Hobbs, who's supposed to start on the defensive line, he's going to miss multiple weeks. So not as much production when you factor in the injuries. And I'm looking right here. This is Tennessee's schedule from last year. Where are the passing attacks? I spot 3. Georgia, Ohio State, and Arkansas. Those are the 3 losses. And by the way, I know Arkansas only scored 19 points in that game. Taylor Green had a hell of a stat line. They were throwing the ball on Tennessee. So I'm a little wary about these Tennessee defensive numbers against the pass because who's the best? If you take out those 3 games, the Georgia game, the Ohio State game, and the Arkansas game, who's the most dangerous passing attack on this schedule from last year? Remember, when they played NC State, it was still McCall, and that looked terrible. When they played Florida, it was Graham Mertz. It wasn't C.J. Bailey, and it wasn't DJ Lagway yet for those 2 programs. They played 3 tough passing attacks. All 3 of them were able to throw the ball. The next one up would be Milroe in Alabama, who, granted, didn't do much against Tennessee. I'm not trying to say Tennessee's defense isn't good. I'm just saying, as far as their defense against the pass, I wouldn't be surprised if Syracuse can move the football here. And on the other side, the Tennessee offense, I understand that the lead story is going to be Nico transferring out, Aguilar transferring in, obviously. I don't think that's... I think that's kind of a lateral move. Nico's obviously more talented, but he was a freshman. Now you bring in an experienced quarterback. Doesn't quite have the talent, but he has the experience. I think it's kind of a lateral move, honestly. The beating heart of this Tennessee offense last year was the offensive line and Dylan Sampson, and they're gone. 4 starters from the offensive line gone. Dylan Sampson's on the Browns. I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee's offense struggles a little bit. Keep in mind, Fran Brown is a defensive coach. He brings back some production, and the Syracuse defense was terrible last year. I think it takes a step forward. I'm on the plus 14, and I kind of like it. It's disgusting. I kind of like it. What do you think, Doug?
I think when you look at Joey Aguilar, he was really a quarterback that struggled in the Sun Belt when he had pressure in his face. So I think that the handicap is, can Syracuse defensively increase the amount of pressure that they can get on him? Last year, they were kind of middling in the ACC, 69 tackles for loss, 27 sacks. But if they can get pressure into that interior and make him throw without setting his feet, he is just terrible. The turnover-worthy plays go up significantly when he has pressure. He doesn't do well on the move. So if Syracuse can figure that out, and by the way, I do think Tennessee's offensive line is kind of patchwork. They've had a couple guys that transferred out. They've had some guys that are unproven that transferred in. I'm not just going to shoe this in that he'll have a clean pocket this entire game. So I think we might actually see a lower scoring game. You know, you look at these 2 offenses from last season, and they were both pretty high flying, but I think we'll see a lower scoring game where possibly each of these teams can matriculate the ball at times, but then they'll just see the drive stall between the 40s and they'll end up punting. So you might have some long fields, but I think for Syracuse, you find a way to pressure Aguilar, you get in his face, you make him throw into the dirt, and you just kind of maybe play a little keep away on offense and try and run the football. But I think Tennessee is really, they've got some problems. We saw it in fall camp with some injuries and some performance things that didn't really go well in the scrimmages. I am not running to the window to lay it. Let's put it that way.
All right. So I'll put under up. It sounds like you were considering an under, but yeah, I'm on this one. Syracuse plus 14.
If I see a 14.5 flash, I'll probably join you at the window on the cues.
All right. Let's move on to the next game. Mr. Kitley.
I'll just say that.
Go ahead. I want to bet Kitley so bad.
I mean, you're just going to have a complete 180 dynamic change in offense for Florida Atlantic. Kitley comes in. We've got Messer at receiver. We've got the quarterback that comes in, Veldkamp from Western Kentucky. It's going to be high octane. They're going to go fast. They're going to throw the ball a lot. if you look at some of the defensive metrics for Florida Atlantic last season, they were not a good defense, and they were still kind of protected by a slower paced ball control offense. Well, this year that defense is really going to be exposed. They have very little returning production on that defense. It's going to look like 11 folding chairs out there. I think this will look like a typical Maryland football game. They're going to throw the ball around. They're going to run tempo. The receivers are going to win the one-on-one battles against the FAU corners. We should see both teams in the red zone a ton. And even middling red zone performance should get this over. I love Maryland to be in the 40s. I think Florida Atlantic will continue to press and run their stuff deep into this game and get in the 30s. I like both team total overs. Everything about this game screams over to me. And I do also think it's fascinating. Maryland's in a quarterback battle right now. We think it's going to be Malik Washington, but they've got 2 or 3 guys that they like. So if Maryland does happen to extend margin late, they're going to run their stuff with the backup because they need to see what they have.
I agree. I mean, I feel like the way, from what I'm reading, from what we can expect to see from this FAU team, I don't think over is going to be a bad bet anytime soon in an FAU game. So, yeah, I'm expecting Kitley to throw the ball all over the field. He's got the quarterback for it in Velkamp. He also brings in Messer, who had like 120 yards and 2 touchdowns in the spring game. If you don't know who Messer is, that's Velkamp's wide receiver from Western Kentucky. 5'9" slot wide receiver, comes over with them. So he brings over a receiver. He's got chemistry. Kitley comes from Texas Tech. Expect to see them throw the football. The problem is, like you said, I don't know where the stops are coming from for FAU. Not to mention, when you have a coach who's coaching the offense that way, doesn't always put the defense in the best of positions. I'm not putting over up. I'm putting Kitley up. This is where I want to do this. I just don't know if I can count on FAU to make a single stop. So I can't responsibly do this. Just let the record show I really want to do this. I really want to take FAU money line, to be honest. I don't like this Maryland team at all. I don't know where if you're a Terps fan, I don't know what you're looking at that gives you a bunch of hope. Have they even announced the quarterback yet for Maryland?
I mean, they're very, very coy about it. They said that all 3 could play. All 3 will or have been taking snaps with the ones in fall camp. And they basically said, we know who's going to start, and you'll find out on the first series when we trot them out there.
Sounds good.
But, yeah, I'll say, too, FAU team total over 22.5 looks good. I haven't seen the player props on this yet. I don't play a lot of player props, but for catches, Messer, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, go over. He'll be the main guy out of the slot, and he'll have a ton of catches in this game. Yeah,
I expect him to see a lot of the football also. New Mexico, Michigan. Surprised to see this one on your text. So let's hear it. What do you got to say about New Mexico, Michigan?
Well, so if I'm being honest with you, everything that you saw from New Mexico last season offensively, throw it out the window because they're not going to look anywhere near what they looked like last season. And I'll be honest with you, the heroics of Devon Dampier were needed to keep that team in games last season. They had a bottom 10 offensive line in FBS, even though they only surrendered 5 sacks. If anyone else would have been playing quarterback, it would have been 45 sacks surrendered. And now you have Jack Lane back there who is not mobile. He's not had a ton of any experience at FBS. And you are going to see this from Michigan. So they named Bryce Underwood the starter. I think there's going to be a lot of hype around him. They have some talent at running back and receiver. And, I mean, just pull up the roster and go look at the tight end room for Michigan. You've got 3 or 4 guys that are 6'5", 250. They're athletic. They can pass, receive, and they will be such a safety valve for the young quarterback. And New Mexico has no chance whatsoever to cover any of those guys. And so then you look at the Michigan weakness, it's going to be their offensive line. It may rear its ugly head at some point this season, but it will not in this game here. If you just look at some of the New Mexico defensive metrics, 50% third down conversion surrendered last season, that's bad. 45 out of 48 red zone trips resulted in a score. They only had 11 sacks on the season, and they surrendered in pass coverage 65%, 30 touchdowns against just 3 interceptions. And 2 of their starting corners are now at Utah State. This is going to be absolutely atrocious play for New Mexico. And it may not be the gaudy stats from Michigan, but I can see New Mexico really struggle to move the football. I will be shocked if they score more than once and if they achieve over 10 first downs. And so what we'll see is quick possessions, short fields for Michigan, and they'll just keep pouring it on. And when you get into the reserves in these two rosters, when it's 38-0 in the fourth quarter and Michigan's got the ball at the 42 and they're just salting the game away, they'll punch one more in. I would need 48.5 to want to take the Lobos here because they're just not going to have it in the trenches, and the mismatch will be stunning. It's hard to lay that big number with Michigan, but they're going to put it on New Mexico badly.
It's tough to argue with what you're saying, and especially with the New Mexico offense. I don't really know how it's going to work, especially right away. I mean, Scott Trey Humphrey should be a cool back for them this year, but not in the big house, not in this one. I will say, I think the New Mexico defense, you mentioned last year, what happened with New Mexico last year was crazy. They had one of the most explosive offenses in the country out of nowhere. They were like fifth in the country in yards per play or something wild. Obviously, that doesn't exist anymore. Beck's gone. Dampier's gone. The whole offense is gone. I don't really know if this new offense is going to work at all. I will say I have some hope for the New Mexico defense. They bring in, like you said, Eck, who comes from Idaho, and the three pieces he brought with him on the defensive side are probably immediately all Mountain West defenders. So they bring an edge rusher, a linebacker, and a corner. It's pretty much the three cornerstones of the Idaho defense. So I'm pretty sure all three of them are preseason all Mountain West. So I wouldn't be surprised if New Mexico surprises us a little bit on the defensive side, but again, not in the big house, not in this one. I really don't have much to say about this one. If you tell me Michigan's going to win by 70, who am I to argue with you? I don't know.
I will say this, though. I would say shop around, get the best line. I always recommend that for anybody because it's the easiest way that anybody can improve their position as a bettor. It takes very, very little talent. It just takes a little bit of time. And if we go shop around and look at the odds comparison tool, go find one. They're free. I think you can still find some 34.5s out there. So that's what I would say, especially when you get into the college spreads and you find some of these games that are mismatches, go find a 34.5.
34.5 if you can find it. Hawaii, Arizona. I don't think Alajado's going to play, but that is not. First, it was like, oh, he's on track to play. Now it's questionable. I don't think he's going to play. I think that's reflected in the line movement as well. But Hawaii, Arizona, what is your reaction to the Week 0 game first, and what are your thoughts on this one?
I thought Hawaii was very fortunate to win the game. I didn't think that they played very well. They played kind of how I expected. I'm a little lower on Hawaii. I took the regular season win total under 6.5. I can see why people went over 5.5. I really think they're playing Wyoming the last game of the season trying to get to a bowl game, and I think that's got to be the goal here. So, you had Hawaii on the island. They were jacked up for that game. Stanford didn't play very well. They're not going to play very well all season, but you just saw Hawaii struggle. You saw the pass metrics. You saw dink and dunk. They were not very efficient. They didn't do very well on third down, just 3 for 10. The red zone metrics were okay, but they settled for some field goals. I think when I'm looking at Hawaii, everybody remembers the Colt Brennan Hawaii, the fast-paced run and shoot where they were going quick tempo. They were throwing for 500 yards. Well, that hasn't been Hawaii for many, many years. They try to run the football. They're committed to running the ball, and they're at their best when they're running the ball. But they still couldn't run it against Stanford. They're not going to run it here against Arizona. And I just don't see a situation where Timmy Chang lets Alejado hang in there if he's getting pressure, if he's getting sacked. Because with the high ankle sprain, that could linger for 5 weeks. And they've got winnables against Sam Houston, Portland State, and then they get into the Mountain West schedule. This game means nothing to Hawaii when you factor in their predetermined preseason goals of bowl game eligibility, maybe winning the Mountain West Conference. This game means nothing to them. So why would you risk injury to the guy who's going to get you there if you don't have to? I think if he plays, it'll be short-lived and they'll get him out of there after they're down by a couple scores. It's evident they're not going to win. I played Hawaii's team total under 18.5. I love this play. They didn't surpass their team total last week. I don't think they're scoring 3 touchdowns here. Under 18.5, I think we see the Bows fold their tent early and just get the hell out of there without injury.
I like that. I kind of think Arizona, I think Fafita is going to resemble the 2023 version more so than the 2024 version. I know the superstar wide receiver goes to the NFL, but I honestly think he has more weapons there. And I like the running back they brought in, Mahdi, a lot. I kind of would lean towards Arizona, not at the huge number. I didn't have a ton of interest in this game. I agree with everything that you said. What held me off of actually pulling the trigger on Arizona earlier, it's all the way up. What is it, 17.5 now? Is I can't touch down San Diego State.
Yeah, I was going to do a little live cut in there since we're both sweating San Diego State. Looks pretty good right now.
That was a big one.
I think yep, you're in at a good number for some CLV, 15.5. I jumped on it as soon as I saw it, 12.5. I went back for more at 18.5, recommended at 18.5. So looking pretty good here against the Seawolves.
Damn right. So yeah, there's still a lot of time left there though. What held me off of Arizona is I can't unsee, because you said Hawaii was fortunate to win that game. And I agree. I mean, it took some heroics there at the end. I can't unsee the mental mistakes, the timely penalties, the dropped interceptions, where in my head, and maybe this is irresponsible, but in my head, I am kind of thinking Hawaii could have won that game by 3 touchdowns. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, Hawaii could have looked, if they didn't make those mental mistakes, they could have won. That could have looked a lot different, and we have a different view. It would only be Arizona, but part of me in my head is like, I think Hawaii, if it wasn't for the mental mistakes, might have looked better. Because, I mean, let's be honest, Stanford, other than that 1 9-minute drive, wasn't doing much. I still like this Hawaii defense. They still have playmakers on that defense. If they didn't make the mental mistakes, I think that game looks a lot different. There were timely roughing the passers, holdings that just really crucial times that just altered the pace of the game. It'd only be Arizona, but I'm not even putting it up because, yeah. Utah, UCLA, I think we're going to disagree here. I'm turning into a Nico apologist because I keep arguing with everyone. I'm not a Nico fan, but everyone hates on the guy to the point where I am now becoming a Nico fan.
Well, I can appreciate that. I can honestly tell you that I've had numerous people reach out to me and say, when are we going to middle this? When are we going to middle this? Because one of the first plays I made about June 1st was Utah minus 1.5. So I've got some good position there. I think Utah's the better team. I think they will be much more formidable in the trenches. I think they'll create some problems for UCLA. Now, there's a lot to like about UCLA based on how they played at the end of last season. They had a lot of tough assignments, and they actually played some pretty good football in the later stages of the season against Penn State, against Oregon. You know, we saw this team fight and compete, and they didn't quit. They only lost against against USC by 6. So I think there are some things to build on, but I just do not think they're the better football team here. I'm not running to the window to lay the number now, but I took Utah earlier in the summer. I took Utah to win the Big 12. I just need to see a little more of the offensive output. I think they're going to struggle this year passing the ball. So Nico's going to have to scramble. He's going to have to make plays with his legs. And we'll see if they can do it. I don't have a real strong opinion. This isn't necessarily my absolute favorite play of the weekend, but I don't. It's not enough yet for me to want to take UCLA here.
Well, I mean, Utah, what'd you get, minus 1.5, you said? Yeah, it's hard to argue with that one. That's a hell of a bet there. Utah minus 1.5. I will say it's tough for me to stand up for the UCLA defense. They play all right last year. They were pretty solid against the run, but they lost so much. There's only 2 or 3 returning starters on that defense, and they suffered an injury to Key Lawrence, one of the safeties that transferred in. He might not even play in the opener. So I can't really stand up for the UCLA defense. And the Utah offense looks really strong. It looks really strong, but I think I need them to prove it to me. It's different carving up a bunch of Mountain West defenses. Now, this is a Big Ten defense. Now it's UCLA, but I'm going to need to see it because Utah has a certain identity, right? And I understand you bring Beck in, you bring Dampier in. You got that Utah offensive line. Their top 6 offensive linemen are back. Like, on paper, I understand, but I find it hard to believe that Utah's offense is just going to go out there and put 40 points up. I need to see it first. So even though UCLA's defense is vulnerable, I'm not sold that this Utah offense just takes the field and looks like a top 10 team. I'm not sold on it. I get it looks good on paper. And on the other side, I thought Nico was impressive last year. The expectations were obviously going to be out of control. He was like going viral on Instagram, hype out of this world. He was a freshman in the SEC. We should have had realistic expectations. I thought he was really impressive at times. Yeah, there were times where he wasn't so impressive, but he's got out of this world athleticism. He's clearly got a ton of arm talent. there was a few times during the season where I was like, okay, I get the hype. When he would scramble out of the pocket, deliver a pass. I was impressed by Nico last year, and I think he takes a step forward this year. And as much as I'm uncertain about the UCLA defense, the UCLA offense doesn't look that bad. I think the offensive line is better. They bring back a couple receivers, although there's some injury concerns with the UCLA wide receivers. Mikey Matthews might not play. He's a slot they brought in. Javion Thomas from Cal is going to be running the football. I think this UCLA offense might be pretty dangerous. And the Utah defense, although they reload the front seven like it's nothing, they lost a lot out of the defensive front seven. The 3 starting defensive linemen, couple linebackers. So Utah's defense might be slow out of the gate. I think 5. I can't argue with the Utah -1.5, but I am really considering playing this. Can you get a 6? Let me get a 6. Let me look right now.
Yeah, I'll look with you too.
Nah, 6 at Pinnacle. You have my word, ladies and gentlemen. If this hits 6, I will bet UCLA. All right. Now
6s are gone. 6s are gone.
I'll keep an eye peeled for them. Now we got New Hampshire NC Central. This is all you. Can't tell you anything about either program, so you have the floor.
Yeah, NC Central, we saw it last weekend against Southern University in a real big spirited spot for them. They had just so much to play for, and they really did a great job in the fourth quarter winning that game. They return a ton of offensive production. Quarterback returns, offensive line is shored up. They've got several receivers they can throw the ball to, and they're actually really an explosive MEAC offense. Generally, I don't like betting MEAC teams when they're playing anybody outside of the MEAC or the SWAC, but if you look at New Hampshire, this team is way, way down this year. They lose everybody on the defensive line. They return 1 linebacker. The secondary is an absolute mess. They lose 12 of their top 13 tacklers. Their quarterback situation is as bad as it's been in 10 years in New Hampshire. They're just not going to have the punch. You used to be able to rely on New Hampshire throwing the ball around for 400 yards a game, putting a scare into an FBS team, but this New Hampshire team is going to be really, really up against it this year. They're already playing in a watered-down CAA conference. CAA has had some of their premier teams leave and go to other leagues, and they've bottom filled with poor teams like NCA&T and Hampton and other teams that are just really bad. And they're projected outside the top 6 in the CAA this year. It's going to be really tough defensively, and this is a spot where you're catching North Carolina Central laying less than a touchdown, currently -5.5. I'm absolutely laying it here with NCC. They're going to win this game. I think they'll win by a couple scores. It's a really formidable MEAC program.
I'm taking it with you. Let's do it. I don't know anything about it. I'm just blindly telling you. NC Central, you said.
Lock it in.
Lock it in. So this game is on. I didn't even look at what day. Is this on Saturday?
Saturday, yeah. It's in the FCS section. You got to kind of work to find it.
Saturday, 6 p.m. NC Central. Where is it at? There it is. -5.5 on FanDuel.
You in?
I'm in.
All right.
All right, let's do it. NC Central. Can't say this one will make one of the TVs, but maybe I'll squeeze it in. All right.
Yeah, put on the iPad on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, why not? Some NC Central. All right, last game on the board, and then we could do MLB next. I see people in the comments that want me to do MLB before we play the recording, which makes sense. So we could go MLB next. We got one last game. It's Presbyterian at Mercer. The line is 24.5. I couldn't even find a total for this one. Let me see if it's up now. Nope, still no total. All right.
Well, let's talk Presbyterian. I mean, they play in the FCS non-scholarship Pioneer Football League. So this is a Division I FCS team that does not offer athletic scholarships. It'll show anytime a Pioneer team plays against anybody else in FCS or FBS for that matter. Last time these two teams played was just last year, 63-10. And Mercer did lose a little bit defensively. They were kind of in a dogfight against UC Davis before that game was unbelievably canceled with just a few minutes to go last weekend. I can't believe they didn't finish that one out, but Presbyterian had their best season in several years last year at 6-6. They do lose quite a bit of production defensively. You're not going to have the havoc that was created last year by Presbyterian. The linebackers in the secondary are all being replaced. It's just going to look like men against boys out there. I can't tell you. You'll see it in the trench play. It'll be really tough for Presbyterian to move the football. Receivers will have no separation. It'll be really, really tough here. And Mercer got to be a little pissed off they didn't have a chance to go down there and win the game against UC Davis down 6. That one got they pulled the plug with 5 minutes to go due to lightning and weather and whatever else. But I imagine this Mercer team comes out really fired up. I was encouraged about what I saw from the running backs and the offensive line in the second half of their game against UC Davis. Even though they were trailing, UC Davis is much, much tougher competition than Presbyterian will be. And now Presbyterian has to go on the road. It's just going to be really tough for this team to compete here. And generally you see this out of Pioneer Football League teams when they're playing outside of the Pioneer League. They just really struggle to do anything against Division I competition. I'm not afraid of the big number. Could be covered by halftime, and we'll see Mercer completely control and salt away the second half. I'd say they win by 35 plus.
Mercer minus 24.5. By the way, NC Central moved to 6.5 right after we said that. So yeah, Mercer minus 24.5. Duck, where can the fine folks find your stuff?
Action Network. I'm on the BBOC G5 Deep Dive podcast. We've been super hot, 6-0 to start our best bets. We've got some money line parlays that are still in the mix. We've just been crushing it there on the pod. I'm in the Action Network app, so follow me there. I write for the Action Network, so I do 10 to 12 articles a week there. I host the BetUS live show. I'm on your show weekly, which is fantastic. So tune in late for this because we're going to give you the winners. And active on Twitter, so you can find me there at StepOnADuck1.
Yeah, that's his Twitter right there on the screen. And also, I have him tagged. So if you follow me on Twitter, you can find him tagged right now. NC Central's now 7.5, by the way.
Well, we looked at it. We saw it. We saw what we needed to see. We're in, man.
Came, we saw, we conquered that 5.5.
That's right. All
right, Duck. Have a good night, man. And let's have a good weekend.
Hey, last thing, let's keep a little eyeball on San Diego State, who's up 28-0, covering the number with ease, and now in the red zone here at the early stages of the fourth quarter. So we're looking like we're in hand here.
I'd love to see it. That'll San Diego State would secure a profitable day for me if I get it. So
let's go, baby. Let's get to the window. That's what we try to do here.
To the window. Duck, talk to you soon, man.
You bet. See you guys later.
Later. All right. So we could, if I'll send the email to Toast and Spoon. Whoa, you guys can't even see me. One sec. I'll see if they're ready. I didn't realize that Spoon was going to come on. I didn't think Spoon was going to come on. So now that if Spoon's ready to come on, we should do MLB now. I didn't realize he was coming. That's where the disconnect was. All right. 1 second. Toast and Spoon. Toast and Spoon. Toast and Spoon. Boom, there we go. All right. I sent them the email, so we'll see. Yeah, San Diego State, 28-0. You love to see it. Second. Wow. Damn, I got lucky. I never posted that. That's crazy. Oh, man, I got lucky. I feel like I should add it. I just looked, and someone just DM'd me. He goes, you didn't go 2-1. You went 2-0. And I lost the Wyoming-Akron over, but I never posted on the thing. I'll add it because that's not fair. All right. Still waiting on Toast and Spoon here. I think they might have thought we might have to play the recording. I don't think they're ready. Yeah, we might have to play the recording, honestly. So, all right. Oh, no, here's Spoon. Toast probably saw that it was up next. I didn't realize you were going to wait to come on, and I should have put 2 and 2 together. That's why it was let out of order. But what we could do is we could start ripping through And then Toast can come on and rip through them quickly since Toast isn't here. So rather than do the poll and everything, we could do like rapid fire. Cardinals Reds. Anything here, Spoon? Muted. Still muted. There we go. Now you're back now.
I haven't bet this game yet. I was looking at the Reds money line here. It looks like they might call up one of their top prospects here this week. Be a nice addition to the lineup. Littell's pitched pretty well. I'm not a big Liberatore fan. It looked like the line was coming down, though, at that point, and I didn't want to move on a line that I think I can get a better price on tomorrow, but it'd be Reds or nothing here for me.
And Toast is here as well. So, and Spoon, we'll move at a quick pace. I know it's late as hell. You have work.
We're good.
Your mic's not working, Toast?
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I had to change mine on the options.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't find it. It doesn't find it. I don't know. I've already bet the Reds here. Sorry, I was trying to get my mic done. Great TV. Anyway, Zach Littell has been absolutely fantastic. He had that one bad start in Arizona, or on the road in Pittsburgh. I know that the 3 runs against Arizona doesn't really look great, but that team has really been scoring runs. We saw that over the weekend with in Milwaukee as well. They don't win games, but Arizona's offense can score. So 3 there doesn't really bother me too much. And now we're going to get him back at home against the Cardinals offense that we've watched over the last week do absolutely nothing. Yes, they finally showed up and put up a couple runs a couple nights ago against Mitch Keller after they've seen Mitch Keller, I think, 4 or 5 times this year. Besides that, I mean, they're getting runs off of guys like Adrian Hauser, who's fallen off of a cliff lately, and really nothing else besides that. So unless this Reds team completely falls off a cliff, I know that they didn't look good in LA, but LA has a lot to play for. And that was actually the first time that the Reds actually haven't been swept, or that have been swept all season. They were the last team to do that. I think they bounced back at home with a full bullpen behind Littell.
Cool. Next game is, I'm going to have to switch it to 3. Braves, Phillies, Ranger Suarez against Bryce Elder. Spoon, anything here?
Yeah, I took the over 8.5 in this game at -120. I just look at these 2 pitchers, and I feel like there's a lot of regression coming in the second half of the season for Ranger Suarez. He went on a stretch where he was just dominant, Cy Young conversation dominant, but he's starting to come back down to earth a little bit. He had a really nice start versus Washington his last time out, but I think Atlanta gets a few runs off him, and this Phillies lineup really came to life tonight. And they see an equally bad pitcher with Bryce Elder on the mound. I expect the Phillies to do most of the heavy lifting here, but over 8.5.
Toast?
I laid it with the Phillies here. I don't really have much concerns about Ranger Suarez. I know that he has not the great record in the second half, but I've talked about, I think, multiple times on this show that this Atlanta offense is heating up, and that's true, but versus lefties, it's really not the same. They've been a great offense on the road, but versus lefties, it really hasn't been the same. And as far as I'm concerned, if I'm going to get the Phillies at home at a somewhat decent price, I know 175 isn't like something that anybody's excited to play, but I mean, this team is absolutely dominant in the bank, 42-22 at home, and you have Ranger Suarez with a full bullpen behind him versus Bryce Elder's in that Braves bullpen. So even if the Braves were to score a couple runs, I don't think it's going to matter. This Phillies team is on a different level right now.
What was the final score today?
Like 21-2?
Yeah, we liked the over yesterday. I obviously didn't watch any. I was just curious. Sorry.
Yeah, I played it late for a little gambling. Everybody was gambling college football. I said, hey, I'll gamble on an over.
No, I liked that over yesterday, and Spoon liked it. You liked it. We all liked it. That's why I asked. Rays Nats in Washington, D.C. Adrian Hauser against Mitchell Parker. Toast?
Spoon can kick this one off. He has a bet in the game.
Oh, does he? Spoon, what's up?
Yeah, I got Rays -136 here. Mitchell Parker has just been terrible. If we look at the spreadsheet, every single statistic he has is red. There's nothing really good I can say about him. 1.67 whip to lefties, 1.44 to righties, an xFIP north of 5 to both sides of the plate. I think this Rays lineup, as bad as they've been, can get a few runs off him. They were able to get 4 off Liberatore, 4 off Jeffrey Springs, 4 off Tyler Anderson. I think they can do that again tomorrow. And then once we get to that bullpen, I think the Rays can definitely get to Washington's bullpen at this point. They've lost their best arms to trades. Adrian Hauser, not looking as sharp the second half of the season, but this Washington lineup's kind of a shell of what it was earlier and missing a couple of bats. It's a spot where I expect him to be able to put a decent start together, 5 or 6 innings of 2-run baseball, maybe 3-run. I think minus 136 closes pretty well, but we'll see.
Toast.
Yeah, I mean, no offense to you, Spoon. There's not a chance in hell I lay 140 with this Rays team right now. I agree that I think that they win because Mitchell Parker is that bad, but and the Rays haven't been absolutely terrible. They've got to the mediocre lefties that they've seen. But my issue is Adrian Hauser, who hasn't been good in any way, shape, or form. And I agree. The Nats are absolutely terrible, but they are loaded with lefties. He really struggles with lefties. It would be over or pass for me. There's not a chance I play over 9 in Washington with these two teams, but I do think this number's high for a total. I think both these guys get hit up.
Next game. And the next game is, sorry about the Brewers, Blue Jays. The Brewers end up winning today. I saw they were losing.
No, they lost that game.
It's a damn shame.
My favorite thing in the world is the people in the comments that don't get the joke about Trevor and the Brewers, and then they get all mad. Like, these guys are so mean to him.
Yeah. Stop bullying TV Jones.
I'm fading you guys tomorrow.
Toast the Shane Bieber pitch well here.
Yes, I think he does. I have no reason to believe he doesn't. Obviously, his start in Miami, really hard to go off of because Miami's not a great offensive team. But I have no reason to believe. I mean, Shane Bieber's been really, really good for a long time. Yes, he was injured all of last year. But in 2023, I mean, let's not forget. I mean, he had an ERA, 3.6, 3.7 or something like that. I don't have the number in front of me. But when I was looking at it earlier, I know that he was pitching well earlier. So I don't really worry about him. He's fresh, and this Toronto team at home has been very, very good, just like Philadelphia, 44-22 at home. That's nothing to scoff at. I know that the Minnesota series wasn't like awesome because they gave up a whole bunch of runs, but I'm not talking shit about Milwaukee because of Trevor. Like, I do feel like they were on a high for such a long time and that we're continuing to get them priced at a decent point. And I don't think that this is a great matchup for Reddy Peralta, personally. I think that he has seen a lot of lackluster offenses over the last 3 or 4 weeks. San Francisco, the Cubs, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, the Cubs again, Miami, and then on the road to the Dodgers where he got absolutely throttled. So I do think this is a huge, huge step up in competition for the Brewers. And the Brewers are again, just like the other teams we talked about, very good at home, mediocre on the road. I know they didn't look good in their homestand, but if you're not looking good against San Francisco and Arizona, I mean, I'm sure this is a little bit of a get-up spot playing a first-place team, but to get to Toronto at 130 or whatever I got it, I thought that was a very, very cheap price for one of the best home teams in Major League Baseball.
Dude, there's just treehouse jokes being cracked. Spoon, do you agree that the Jays are the move here?
I was looking at that. I lean Jays over Brewers, but I'm not ready to pull the trigger on it. I'm looking at the under 8. You can get a minus 120 on it right now. I think both of these pitchers are pitching pretty well. Freddie Peralta hasn't given up a run in 3 starts. Blue Jays lineup has been really good at home, though, and they have all their bats healthy, so I haven't actually got to that point yet. But Shane Bieber, I agree. I think he'll pitch really well. It's been a year and a half since he's been in the major leagues, came back 6 innings pitched, just 1 earned run on 2 hits. I don't think they would have brought him back unless he was healthy. I expect him to go another 5-6 innings and hand it off to the bullpen. Just with the low-scoring game, I don't really want to get on one side or the other. I think I'm going to wind up on this under tomorrow, though.
All right, let's move
This
on.
line is moving. I got the Blue Jays. I sent them out at 126. They're at 136 now, and it continues to move.
Oh, sharp alert. Look out for the sharp. I'm guessing the Mets lost because they were getting cursed out for an hour straight in the Discord.
There's 2 people in the Discord that, yeah. They just play parlay. So it's like, oh, the manager, he's terrible. Oh, my God. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. Well, they really didn't play that bad. The over, which everybody on the panel, I think, was on, hit. Right, Spoon? Weren't you on the over, too? Over 8.5?
That as soon as it got to 4-4, I was so happy. It felt
Yeah,
free.
I know, me too. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be a Marlins 7-1 victory, but thank God it wasn't.
Shout out to Gabe Gordon. Appreciate the super chat, man. So Spoon, Yuri Perez, can he shut down this red hot Mets lineup?
I think Yuri Perez can keep him in the game for a couple innings. It's a guy that hasn't pitched as well on the road as he has at home. He's got a 4.42 ERA on the road. And the Mets have really been tattooing some of the starters that have come through, but I don't have a play in this game. I was looking at the Marlins first 5+1/2, just wondering how the Mets starter does in this game. It's Yona Tong. He's the Mets' #1 pitching prospect, #2 overall. He's a 52nd prospect in all of baseball, and he's just blown through the minor leagues this year. Started in AA, moved up to AAA. I think he leads the minor leagues in strikeouts right now, but I have questions how well his stuff really plays once he gets to the majors. The fastball sits in the mid-90s. Looks like he's got pretty good control, but he relies on that fastball an awful lot. The curveball and slider, everything you read scout-wise, it says this guy's going to pitch really well, but he only has 2 starts in AAA baseball, and that's where they use the baseball that the major leaguers use. So I question how well he really will play tomorrow. So I was looking at Marlins first 5. This is a game I just want to watch. He's been compared to Tim Lincecum already, so that's pretty high praise. We'll see.
Toast?
First of all, Tim Lincecum is a goat. He used to eat like in and out before every start, just a straight goat. Anyway, under 8 for me. I think this number is low for a reason. I know that runs don't come easy in Citi Field, and I don't think they're going to come easy tomorrow. Not great weather in New York, around 70, 75 degrees with almost 15-mile-an-hour winds blowing in from left field. And at this Tonkin, like he said, he had worked his way up all the way through. I don't really love it, but he was like untouchable in the minors. I'm talking like a .898 whip or something like that in AA, where he spent most of his time, which I know that doesn't really compare, but I think there's a reason that they're hanging an 8 out here and not an 8.5 like yesterday. I think this is a lower scoring game. I'm not in love with the Miami bullpen either, but especially with the way that the Mets offense has been playing. But again, I think this number is low for a reason. It'd be under for me.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Oops. Skeens against, I don't know. Spoon, who's that?
He's yeah, go ahead.
Another top prospect for the Boston Red Sox, Peyton Tole. I don't actually know how to pronounce his name.
Did you see Hector Gomez's tweet about him? He goes, if this kid was Dominican, they'd be checking his birth certificate.
Is it?
Because he's all chubby with a big. He looks like he's 50. He's all chubby with a big old back mustache. It's so funny.
Peyton Tole. So all right, this is a high prospect.
Yeah, 6'6" foot kid, 22 years old, out of TCU. Dominated college with a fastball. He only has 2 other pitches. The changeup he doesn't really have great control over. The slider uses about 20% of the time, so really relies on that fastball. But it peaks out at 99 miles an hour. Looks like it averages probably 96, 97. I think he's going to come out, probably be able to pitch pretty well to this Pittsburgh lineup. This lineup's been bottom of baseball all year. It's not a huge jump up from AAA, but I do have some concerns too. He started the year in high A ball and then went to AA, then to AAA. He's only got 3 starts in AAA, so I have a few concerns. He did get hit up in one of those starts. I'm probably just going to watch this game, but maybe a first 5 Pirates look.
Pirates first 5? About what price can you get on that? It could be an
full game spreadsheet.
It could be an X. Oh yeah, I'll just put it up. Toast.
That Pirates first 5 is 105. Boston money line for me. You're getting one of the hottest teams in baseball right now, one of the best teams in baseball since that trade at a cheap price at home. I know that everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, Toast likes to fade Skeens." It has nothing to do with it. We just know that Skeens isn't gonna go deep into this game, and we have a red hot Boston offense. So even if Boston's behind a run or 2 in the first 5. I still think they hold a major advantage at the end of this. Or at the end of this game, I tried to get cute and pick off Boston today. They ended up scoring a run in the 8th or the 9th. It is what it is. But this team just continues to find ways to win, and they won today without using any of their major bullpen arms. I will be on Boston at the cheap price.
All right. Next up, let me clear the board. Next up is, sorry about that, Mariners, Guardians in Cleveland. Logan Allen against George Kirby. Toast?
Yeah, I'm not in love with this Cleveland team at all. I guess I should get that out of the way, but I don't know if I really want to lay this big number with Seattle on the road. They're just too inconsistent for me. I know that they started to play well for a while, but I mean, over the last couple of weeks, they're barely a 500 baseball team. And not that Cleveland's been playing good at all. I mean, I know they're coming off of back-to-back wins against Tampa Bay after losing a whole bunch of games, but Logan Allen has been somewhat feasible. I know that he had a couple blow-ups, but I mean, it's a lot of 4, 5, 6 innings of 2-run baseball. And this Mariners team versus left-handed pitching is kind of hit or miss. I mean, they put 9 off of Lopez a couple days ago, and then they put a 4 spot on Sean Manaea on the 15th. But besides that, I mean, Jacob Lopez, Jeffrey Springs, there's some good names: Luzardo, Sanchez, Ranger Suarez, Trevor Rogers. So I mean, they're the upper echelon guys. But the first game on the road in Cleveland, I'm just not really there. George Kirby does struggle a little bit with lefties. Not that it's not the same Cleveland lineup, just scattered with a shit ton of lefties like normal, but they do still have 5 or 6 guys in there. It would only be Cleveland for me at this price. I'm not going to bet this game because I do think that Seattle ends up winning, but I just can't get there laying almost 160 with Seattle right now.
Spoon, what do you think?
I could only do like a Seattle -1. I think you'd get it around like -110 right now. I'm not trying to back Cleveland at this point in the season. Their offense to me is just one bat. Sure, he can hit from the left-hand side, and you have Quan in there as well, but there's not a lot of lefties that scare me that much with Kirby, and he's coming off a really good game versus the Athletics. The only thing that kind of concerns me with him is just the amount of walks we've seen from him over the last 6 or 7 games. It just seems like throughout the course of his career, he never walked anybody. You'd see maybe 1 or 2 tops in a start. And recently it's been 3s, 2s across the board on a pretty regular basis. And if he walks a couple guys and Jose Ramirez comes up, that could be a bad recipe. I think it's still decent value to get there with Seattle. They're the much better team. They have a playoff chase they're in the middle of, so they really need this game. I think they have the bullpen advantage as well, but Cleveland's bullpen's also been good. I haven't bet it, but Seattle -1 would be it.
Let's move on to the next game. Moving right along, and the next game is Yankees White Sox in Chicago. Rodon is on the mound. Oh wait, Rodon against his own. Oh no, that's Giolito that pitched for the White Sox. I almost said Rodon against his old team, but that's Giolito.
He didn't pitch. I think he did pitch for the White Sox.
Wait, was Rodon the White Sox also?
Now
He
I'm
also pitched
questioning
on the White
myself.
Sox.
Man, the White
No,
Sox.
he did.
Okay, yeah.
So, but wait,
Yeah.
Giolito did too, though.
Yes.
Yes.
They both were. Man, the White Sox bring in some talent,
Yeah.
huh?
The White Sox were loaded. Remember the Field of Dreams game? Those teams were like loaded.
Cease was pitching
Over.
good.
Yes, Cease was good.
So,
It was a long
I
time
told
ago.
you. I was trying to tell Spoon in our DMs today how trash Cease was. He wasn't trying to hear it. He was trying to stick up for him.
I just remember being so mad watching him like in Cy Young competition when we gave him up for a bag of chips.
Yep, that happens.
what
It happens.
are
Dodgers gave up Yordan Alvarez for a bag of balls. Over.
the White
White
Sox are
Sox
still
versus-
hitting lefties? That's what I was asking. Are they still hitting lefties?
Yes, they are. It's definitely not the 4.7, 4.7, 4.77 like they were, but they just got 6 off of Noah Cameron. Everything else, I mean, there's a couple of duds in there, but they're still one of the best teams in Major League Baseball versus left-handed pitching. Rodon's been very good though. I guess I haven't played this yet. I was hoping for a juiced 8.5, just like it was today, because Rodon's has been pretty damn good. I mean, his road starts definitely aren't as good as at home, but I will also say that some of those lineups have been pretty damn decent. But regardless, I think this is, again, I'm making a joke with a system play, but continue to play the White Sox in overs, especially versus lefties, because if the White Sox can put up some runs, their pitching staff is definitely going to give up some runs, whether it be the bullpen or the starting pitching. It doesn't really matter. So we saw that today. We saw that a lot lately. I think over their last 8 games or something, or 8 or 9 games or something like that. Like 7 of them have went over 10 runs. It's just this both when this team plays, run scores either for the other team or them or both. So over.
Someone said Jay Cutler bobblehead night. Timing, man. He's just got in some trouble. Spoon.
He did. Oh, okay.
Not like I think it's like a DUI. So. But anyway,
I like that over as well. There is a juiced 8.5 minus 128 available at FanDuel. I see right now.
Do it. Me and you.
Do you think we'll get a better number
Then 8. Let me double check the weather. That was the only thing I hadn't looked at off the top of my head. Nothing great. It's not great weather, so we might get better than that. It might be worth the wait. It's not great weather at all.
I'm going to be on that over 8.5. I'm going to start looking around. Sometimes Fanatics has a soft line to it. I can't check that at the moment. I'm going to be on that over 8.5. I think Rodon, as good as he's been, he's always liable to give up 3 or 4 runs, and these White Sox have been hitting lefties. It's not anything that's completely dead with me. They just got 6 off Noah Cameron. I think Gomez has just really exceeded expectations at this point in the season. He's got a couple good starts, but hasn't been against the New York Yankees. This team, when they hit the road, they're the number 1 team in baseball. I think they show up tomorrow. I like that over.
All right, let's move on to the next game. And the next game is, Tigers Royals in Kansas City. Seth Lugo against Chris the Padlock Paddock. Spoon.
Kansas City Royals here. I think both of these pitchers just faced off against the other team. Chris Paddock came out, pitched 5 innings, only gave up 1 earned run, and on the opposite side, Seth Lugo came out, gave up 6 earned runs, 8 base runners in less than 5 innings. I think a lot of times when you see a team for a second time in this short of a period, the opposite happens a lot, the zigzag effect. I think Chris Paddock is a guy that's always liable to get 4 or 5 earned runs. We've seen it against Minnesota a couple times this season. Colorado hit him up. The Cubs hit him up. Detroit got to him. I don't think that he has the kind of stuff where he can go out and see a team 2 times in a row and just blank them both times. And Seth Lugo is a guy that has 6 pitches in his pitch mix. If there's anybody that can come out a second time and face you and be able to show you something different than what worked for them the first time, it's him. So I think that zigzag effect happens, and I'm on the Royals here. I like their bullpen situation as well.
I like this pick. It'd be Royals for me as well. Nope, not Mercer. I didn't have my pick graphic set up.
Blast from the past right there.
But I also like Mercer. No, it'd be Royals for me.
Shout out Townsend. Shout out Townsend football, by the way. Hell of a job tonight, boys. Hell of a job.
I was wondering where you were like cheering Townsend in
my
the Discord.
uncle told me to.
Oh, you liked it? You had Townsend?
I don't know. I was just having fun.
Did you tell San Diego? Did you tell San Diego State like I told you to?
Yes, I did.
Good shit. All right, go ahead.
I haven't what the score is though, so
they're up 35-0. I think it's over.
Oh, okay, cool. Tigers team total over 4.5 plus 105 for me. Sorry, I didn't put in the pick sheet. I get the zigzag effect theory, but the fact of the matter is this is going to be the 4th time the Tigers have seen Seth Lugo, and he's been kind of demolished by them every single time. 6 2/3, 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 1/3, 5 hits, 4 runs, 4 1/3, 6 hits, 6 runs. It just keeps on getting worse. So if he magically turns a corner tomorrow and pitches fantastic against the Tigers, so be it. But he can't get lefties out to save the life. We know that the Tigers have a whole bunch of lefties with power. They just got embarrassed in Sacramento. I think they come to play tomorrow. Tigers team total over 4.5 at plus money.
No, the Tigers don't hit on the road. I know that.
Right. So the 8 they just put up.
Home is where you make it.
Sacramento?
Nah, home is where you make it. No, I don't know if
anyone get out of here. You like to see homos naked. I get it. It's all good.
It's all right. It's all right, man. It doesn't bother me none.
I actually know that movie. That's the crazy part. I know that.
Home is where you make it. Angels on the road in Houston. Christian Javier, Toast's former boy. Toast used to be fond of Christian Javier back in the day. Are you still a fan? Are you still a fan?
Yeah. Last year was kind of rough sledding. I'm not gonna lie. I think everybody knows that. So, and then he got hurt, so it's not as easy. I'm not a fan of him as far as like backing him right now. I I will say that his 3 starts this year aren't easy ones. I mean, at home against a Boston team that was surging, and then 2 starts against Baltimore looked good at home, are like somewhat decent, only 3 innings, and then only went 2 innings on the road. So I do think the book's kind of out on him. It would only be over 9 for me. I can't play it just because I don't really trust this Houston offense at all. But as our boy TV Jones always likes to say, Tyler Anderson rolls out of bed and gives up 4 runs, and you can see it on their spreadsheet. You can see it. I mean, it's 4 runs pretty much every time, except for the Chicago Cubs, that he actually pitched well against them with that trash organization. But on top of the fact that Houston's already seen him and he pitched well against Houston earlier this year, I think that he absolutely gets smoked. It would only be over for me. Again, I can't play 9 just because I don't trust the Houston offense, but it would only be over for me. I don't see either one of these pitchers pitching that well.
You know, Christian Javier is always down to pitch in a shootout, man. He's like the king of the 10-9 baseball game, like, and winning. Yeah. Spoon, are you a Christian Javier guy?
I like Christian Javier. Obviously, you can't say anything about him this year. He's only had a few short starts, but in the past, I've always liked him. Like you guys have mentioned tons of times, when he pitches, the Houston Astros just show up and hit the baseball. I was pretty close to moving on that same over, but I just laid the -1 with the Houston Astros. I got -113 on it. I just think this is a spot where the LA Angels, they have 8 righties in that lineup. Mike Trout's injured, playing through injury. It shows up in his numbers. That knee's just not right. Javier struggles more with lefties than he does righties. You can't really look at the spreadsheet numbers for that because it's only 3 games, but that dates back a few years now. So if you take out all those lefties that he'd have to face and just stack a bunch of righties, I think his pitch mix matches up pretty well. And Tyler Anderson on the other side, not a big fan of his. Like he said, 4 earned runs every single game he comes out there. And I think you can't really look at the Astros numbers in the past few weeks and really equate it to what the lineup is now. They just, if there's any guy in this league that's a spark plug, it's Yordan Alvarez. Just an absolutely electric bat. I think a lot of the numbers for Houston offensively are going to pick up here in the second half of the season. You have to pitch to that lineup completely differently. They're at home. They were at still. So I think this is just a good spot for them.
All right.
Also, I like the fact, as far as that over, when these two teams play, there's just runs. Just the last few times they played 8-7, 7-3, 4-1, 14-3, 9-8, 10-4, 9-7. I mean, good God.
Good God. Does Nestor Cortez get rocked today, Toast?
No. Boone, you can go first because I know you've already bet this. I got a worse number than you by like 5 cents, so you can kick it off since you're the CL.
What'd you guys get?
I got San Diego.
I got 124.
Yep, Padres money line. I know Nestor Cortez. It's hard to look at him and just want to back him, but he's pitched really decently since he's come over to the San Diego team. He's had 1 bad start there, and it's been pretty easy to predict, and maybe not so easy because he just pitched 6 innings versus the Dodgers, and if he was ever going to get touched, I kind of thought it was there. But this Twins lineup, bottom of the barrel in baseball since the All-Star break, 23rd in WRC plus last 30 days. And on the opposite side, Zebby Matthews, he's a really good young pitcher, but relies on using strikeouts to get outs. And he loses guys, starts walking people. It's happened to him against Detroit. It's happened to him against the White Sox. I think the Padres can lay off some of the stuff outside of the zone. They're towards the top of the league in not striking out. I think they have the 3rd least strikeouts in baseball this season. So I think the Padres match up really well against Zebby. It's going to be a frustrating start for him. And then as soon as you get him out of the game, you get a Minnesota bullpen that used to be really good, but they got rid of their best 2 arms. So with Duran and Jax not back there, you don't have anybody to rely on. These Padres bats, they haven't played like it the whole season, but I think they're a top 5 offense in all of baseball. I think -120 is criminally low, and we're getting it just because Nestor Cortez is out there. I'll lay it with him. I've been successful doing it so far.
Mr. Wesker says Nestor Cortez should be valet parking at the Bellagio. I'll just say
Mr. Wesker should stay in the comments because Nestor Cortez has had. Go ahead, Kyle. Go ahead. You got something to say to Mr. Wesker.
Oh, well, I was just going to say I personally find the valet service at the Bellagio to be top tier. So I don't know if that's an insult. Go ahead.
Fantastic. I agree.
Fantastic service.
So if you, okay, for me as a Padres homer, I mean, maybe this is a little bit in a weird lens, but I feel like I'm pretty critical of this pitching staff. Okay, so Nestor Cortes had one really bad start in New York. This is with Padres or the Brewers, doesn't matter for me. But his starts this year, really bad against the Yankees, whatever. Fantastic against Cincinnati, goes on the road in Arizona for his first start for the Padres, gives up 4 2/3 in 2 innings. 4 2/3, 2 runs. I mean, that's not a terrible start. I mean, that's like a 50 game score, which whatever. My point is that's not a terrible start. And then he goes on the road in San Francisco, another 4 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 1 run. That's good. And then he gets hit up by that same team at home the next time around. And then he goes and pitches again at home against the Dodgers in as well. So really, he had one bad start against the Yankees. As Trevor said, they had torpedo bats. They were cheating. And then he had a bad start against San Francisco, a team that had just seen him 4 days later. And now he's going to be facing a Minnesota team that can't hit left-handed pitching to save their life. I'm well aware that they just got a shit ton of runs off of Eric Lauer. But previous to that, it had been a whole bunch of nothing. They have seen some decent not guys. But, I mean, this Twins team versus left-handed pitching is like bottom third of Major League Baseball consistently throughout this year. So, and on top of that, you have a major bullpen advantage with San Diego. So I think this is a suspiciously cheap price. I won't lie to you guys, but I'm hoping that we're just getting a little bit of value because Nestor Cortes doesn't really just have perceived value right now. But yeah, I bet the Padres.
I like that guy Atopia on Twitter. He goes, "Nah, the valet service is better at the Win." Like critiquing the valet service. Nah, not top tier. All right, let's move on to the next game. Yeah. That's funny shit. Rockies money line, right? This team's trash. Spoon.
Yeah, no, that's what I gave out in the voice chat.
Oh, dead ass serious? I was joking with you. You really did take the Rockies?
You've turned like Trevor.
No, I haven't bet it, but that's where I'd lean. You can get the Rockies at a bettable price up to 2.5 here. Cade Horton, he's pitched really well the second half of the season. 0 earned runs or 1 earned in his last 7 starts, but 2 starts ago versus Milwaukee, he left the game really early with a blister, and last start versus the Angels, he came out, pitched really well for 6 innings, but blisters are something that heal up weird and they come back. I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at this game 5 games from now and we just be like, oh, that's just a blip. Everybody gives up 5 or 6 earned runs in cores. This is a Rockies team that's used to playing here, and the Cubs are just flying into cores for the first day. Their bats have been ice cold versus right-handed pitching all season, or not all season, but the last month or so. I'm not a huge German Marquez guy. That's probably going to keep me off it, but he's been able to pitch pretty well at home versus some decent lineups. He blanked the Dodgers over 4 innings. It could only be Rockies plus 2.5 for me, but I'm not going to bet this game.
What estimation on a price for Rockies plus 2.5? I
think it's like minus 120.
Just saying, that's in range. All right, go ahead, Toast.
It would only be the Rockies for me. I just wanted to touch on 2 things. I was wrong about Cade Horton. This kid from Norman, Oklahoma, just continues to go out there and throw zeros up there. I was dead wrong about you, buddy. If you can do it in Colorado, I will really sing your praises and start to sing your praises.
He throws the fastball. He's going to deal.
This price is kind of ridiculous, though. I mean, a Cubs team that they've been winning. It's not like I can't come on here and say they haven't been winning games, but I don't really trust them to lay a huge number on the road like this. They looked absolutely dead in San Francisco. And Marquez, I mean, take a look at his last 7 starts. He has, I mean, the 2 bad ones were at home. I will give you that. But it was the Dodgers and the White Sox. I mean, and the White Sox have been playing offensively pretty well. I'm not trying to make excuses for it, but I mean, it's not like Marquez has been pitching terrible. This price makes absolutely no sense. And you have a rookie in Cade Horton, who, again, very, very good, but first time in Coors with that Cubs bullpen that I still don't trust. I don't care who is back there. I don't care about Palencia. I do not think he is that good. It would only be the Rockies for me.
No, the Cubs are going to crush Marquez. The way to go is just a flat over 11 here.
You should bet the Cubs minus 220. Minus 1 though.
It's football season. I'm done with the kids games. It's football season.
You can get like -1. That'll be a good price.
Rangers Athletics in Sacramento. Out there in Sacramento. We're heading out California way. Find us some internet. Has anyone ever seen that South Park?
No, but Sacramento's like California.
That was the episode where the internet was shut off, and at the end of the episode, they had to unplug the router and plug it back in.
Yeah, they and the whole time they're like going, we're heading out California. Anyway, Spoon, Jack Leiter in Sacramento. What do you think?
I like the Athletics here. I think Jack Leiter at times can pitch really well. I've been a fan of him and backed him a lot this season, but he's coming off pitching in a lot of kind of pitcher-friendly environments, and he's getting inserted into one of the least pitcher-friendly environments. Jeffrey Springs is used to pitching here. He's pitched a little worse at home than he has on the road this season, but just about everybody does. This is right up there with Coors for just run-scoring environments. I think the numbers that we look at for Texas Rangers don't really reflect what the lineup's going to be tomorrow. You don't have Corey Seager in it. He's had an appendectomy. He's done for the season. Marcus Simeon's out of this lineup. It's not the same lineup. There's not enough ways for me to be really scared of this offense. And if there's one thing the Athletics are, it's pesky. They just find ways to score runs over and over again. I don't have a ton of faith in this Texas bullpen. I think -127 is a decent price to get with the Athletics. At home, their bats have just been almost as good as they have on the road. This team just always hits. I could only be on the Athletics here. I can't back the Rangers without Corey Seager in the middle of that lineup anymore.
Toast.
100% agree. Jeffrey Springs, like he said, hasn't pitched as well at home, but that makes sense. But he's also faced some pretty decent some decent lineups. I mean, Seattle, Toronto, where was it? Philadelphia, somebody else, Minnesota, back when Minnesota had everybody. So I give him a little bit of credit, but for me, it's only Oakland just because of the price. I don't think that there's any question that Texas is the better team. I know that they're only like 6 or 7 games separated in the standings, I think, but a couple things stick out for me. Spoon mentioned it. This isn't the same Rangers team, especially offensively. And then I love Jack Leiter. I'm probably he's like probably one of my favorite pitchers, especially young guys. But a couple things that really bother me with him. Spoon mentioned it. Hasn't really pitched in a hitter-friendly environment in a while. He has a lot of trouble with control, and he doesn't stay late. He doesn't go deep into games. And if that's going to happen, I think that gives Oakland a lot of opportunities in this game. I think there's a reason that they're heavily favored, even though they're the worst team. I don't know if I can actually lay -130 with Sacramento or Oakland or whatever, but it would only be Oakland for me.
Rangers are 13-21 without Corey Seager in the lineup this year.
Oh, Corey Seager's not playing. Oh, all right. I was about to say I like the Rangers.
Well, I was trying to get there too, but I take a lot of pride in like knowing who guys are. I'm not acting like I know all their stats, but I look at that Texas lineup and I see Cody Freeman and Mike Hellman in the lineup, and I had to look up who those guys were. It's just really, really bleak in Texas right now.
Diamondbacks Dodgers.
Over. I think this Arizona lineup is being slept on over and over again. They've put up some decent numbers versus left-handed pitching. We're also getting, I think, a little bit of a sleepy spot for Blake Snell after facing San Diego twice and Toronto. Both, I mean, obviously the San Diego series is big for him. He played there, and it's the Dodgers and Padres. Obviously the home start versus the first-place team in Toronto. And now he gets this lowly Arizona team. I have no indication that he wouldn't give up a couple runs here against this Arizona offense that's top 5 over the last 14 days, top 10 over the last 30 days. Even with all those trades, those are still the same numbers with this lineup. And then we have Zach Gallen on the road off of a pretty decent start against Cincinnati at home. But keep in mind, Zach Gallen has pitched against Cincinnati, Cleveland, Texas, Colorado, Oakland, and Pittsburgh his last few starts. To say that this Dodgers lineup that's actually starting to hit right now is a step up in competition is a understatement. Over 8.5 in LA tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll co-sign that over 8.5. I think the Dodgers can get it themselves between Zach Gallen and that Diamondbacks bullpen. I don't think Zach Gallen matches up that great versus the Dodgers lineup this year. He's really struggling with lefties. You got a bunch of really good hitting lefties in that Dodgers lineup. And he touched on it. Snell, don't have a ton of faith in him to go out there and just absolutely blank this Diamondbacks team. Still versus lefties, last 30 days, top 10 in baseball, 6th in baseball over the last 14 days. Just tattooed a really good pitcher in Andrew Abbott. I think this is a lineup that can contribute to this over. I haven't got to it yet, but the over 8.5 looks really like a good bet.
All right. Last game up, and then we'll talk some more college football, me and Scoop. If you want to hang out, we're doing 5 more games. Baltimore, San Francisco, Orioles Giants, Robbie Ray, Spoon, lead us off.
I think Dean Kramer can pitch pretty well tomorrow. If we look at him on the road, his numbers don't look as good as they do at home, but some of his recent road starts have started to improve. He just went 7 innings pitched versus the Houston lineups, didn't give up a single run. Faced Philadelphia in the bank. That place is always easy to get runs. He gave up 4 earned, but he pitched 6 innings into that game. And then the game before that, he went to a very offensive environment in Tampa Bay and went 7 innings, just 1 earned run. I think if we put him in here, a park like the Oracle normally kills a lot of fly balls. I think he can pitch really well. The Giants are coming off a series where they just swept the Cubs. I think their bats are not necessarily that great. I didn't see anything that impressed me that much. It was more of just a lack of scoring on the other side. Robbie Ray's a guy I've never been able to trust for any length of time. He's coming off 2 road starts coming back home. The last time he was at home, he gave up 4 earned runs to the Padres. The time before that, he pitched at home to the New York Mets, didn't even get to the 4th inning. So I think this is a spot where I could really get to the Baltimore Orioles money line, but I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. This team kind of scares me. I might isolate it to the first 5 if I actually play it.
Toast.
100% agree. A little gun shy because I was on Baltimore today, and I actually really liked Baltimore today. So to lose that in the 9th was kind of a heartbreaker. But to jump on your back about Kramer on the road, if you can even go back farther than that, he got hit up in Atlanta, but pitched well on the road versus the Yankees, pitched well again in Tampa Bay, and then kind of got hit up in Sacramento, again, another AAA ballpark, but pitched well in Boston before that. So really over the last couple months, he had a blow up in a AAA ballpark and a blow up against the Braves. And besides that, he has been really, really good, especially on the road, and he's been been really good at home as well. And don't look now, but Baltimore has been pretty damn decent versus left-handed pitching. I mean, 3 off of Framber Valdez in 6 2/3, 5 off of Ranger Suarez in 6 1/3, 3 off of Luzardo. Matthew Boyd blanked him, but 4 off of Easton Lucas. Eric Lauer pitched 5 innings and 2 runs, 4 off of Gomber, Freeland, and Allen. I mean, so it's not like Robbie Ray's putting up zeros here. I don't think that San Francisco has a pitching advantage. This price is so ridiculous. I feel like I'm missing something. San Diego or San Francisco is so mispriced. I mean, because they beat 2 games in Milwaukee.
I think Robbie Ray is perceived to be significantly better than Dean Kramer.
Yeah.
Even though he might not be this year, but he's priced way.
Well, he's significantly better this year too. Even with
recently maybe not.
No, you're right. I mean, his ERA is still almost a run lower.
Then the price makes sense if you ask me.
I guess I just San Francisco's so damn bad. They're not even a 500 team at home. So it's just really hard for me to lay 160 with this team just because they beat a Cubs team that's perceived to be decent and we all know is not really good right now. It would only be Baltimore for me.
All right.
And San Francisco doesn't have their closer. Rodriguez just went to the IL, so you're going to have to worry about rely on Ryan Walker and Pudo to close the games. It just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, they got nobody out there. All right, make sure you give these guys a follow on Twitter. Me and Scoop are going to talk some college football. Good night, guys.
Good night.
All right, Scoop is here, and we're talking college football. We got 5 games queued up. Now, a couple of them have FCS teams, and if you guys know, if you guys have watched, I'm not much of an FCS guy. I don't really take many shots there, so Scoop's going to take the lead on those. Actually, Scoop's going to take the lead on all these. He's the guest here.
Oh, thanks. I'm not really a guest. I mean, I do work for you.
Yeah, I guess not. So, first up, Western Michigan, Michigan State. I got to say, if this was last year's Western Michigan team, we'd have ourselves a football game here. Last year, I loved that Western Michigan offense with Hayden Wolf. The problem is everyone's gone. Hayden Wolf's gone. 4 or 5 starters on the offensive line are gone. And keep in mind, this was a very good MAC offensive line last year. They actually sent 2 pieces to the NFL from their offensive line. You don't see many MAC offensive lines with 2 NFL players on it. So this is a very good offensive line last year. They're pretty much all gone. Is it Brock Lowry going to get the starter quarterback, Scoop?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Aiden Childs. I know you are. I don't think he's very good, but this is a good spot for Michigan State's opener. I feel it's also going to be on the lower scoring side of the game. I feel Hayden Wolf, you just said, is gone at quarterback. Now you're relying on Brock Lowry, which, okay, I mean, it's fine with his legs, but I don't know if he could pass the ball. I don't know if he's a good passer of the football. You have to think, like, that's all Western Michigan is going to want to do here is run the ball, and now they're starting running back, and Colt Cabana's out. He's going to miss the opener. Who was supposed to be their starting running back. They do return Buckley from last year, who had 683 yards, but you're putting a lot of faith in an unknown quarterback and an unknown line. Like you just said, I mean, losing Jacob Gideon and Addison West on that line is going to hurt. That's 2 first-team All-MAC O-linemen who are in the NFL, like you just said. It's just a lot of inexperience, and I'm not saying Michigan State's defense is anything special. I mean, you saw last year it really wasn't, but Michigan State, I feel, just going to stack the box here and make them run the ball. I mean, Western Michigan had over 2,200 yards rushing the ball last year. So, I mean, Michigan State's best unit is probably their secondary with Spencer, Martinez, Rucker. But you're really playing on to one. I mean, the specialty Western Michigan has, that's the run. So they're just going to play up. I mean, contain Lowry, and I don't think they're pretty much. I don't know if they're going to know what else to do except that. I mean. You know, I just said, as much as I'm not high on Childs, Western Michigan also loses their 4 best tacklers on defense last year. Their 4 best, their 4 top ones. So their front 7's definitely going to take a pretty big step back. I don't think Childs is going to have to do that much this game. Give it to Tal Tolliver, get out of the way, really. He's from Sacramento State. Yeah, Michigan State, I feel like this is a good spot for them. I would take them, and I would take the under in this game.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said. It's really tough to be excited about Western Michigan this season. I already talked about the offense, but Scoop was mentioning that the defense took hits, and keep in mind, this is a defense that was very, very bad last year. Like, this wasn't a good MAC defense. This is an offensive team all the way. They were 121st in DFEI, 126th in yards per play. This was a very bad defense last year, and they lose everybody. Well, they do bring back Halleck at safety, who's pretty solid. But other than that, pretty much everyone's gone here for Western Michigan. I'm big on the Michigan State offense in this one. The weird part is what I'm big on for Michigan State's offense is I think Childs has a better offensive line, and I love the wide receivers here for Sparty. Nick Marsh had 649 yards. He led the team in receiving as a true freshman. He set the Michigan State freshman receiving record last year. So they've got a rising superstar there at wide receiver in Nick Marsh, and they also brought in 2 awesome transfers at wide receiver. Amari Kelly from Middle Tennessee was first-team All-Conference last year, and Big Play McCray from Kent State, 2-time All-MAC. So Aiden Childs has a better offensive line this year and 3 wide receivers that can make play. I think I love those 3 wide receivers. I don't know about the run game, and in my opinion, that's what Michigan State should do here, just hand the ball off. I think they should beat the shit out of Western Michigan. I said my exact notes that I wrote for this one. It's tough to lay 20.5 points in a game where I only see 120 total snaps. So neither of these teams, both, by the way, last year, Western Michigan 125th in plays per game, Michigan State 105th. So neither of these teams play a particularly fast pace. Although I do think Michigan State dominates this game, it should be pretty slow. A lot of running the football, like Scoop said. So I don't think they can actually cover the 20.5. I'll say under for me. Under, what is it, 49.5 right now? Let me scroll up. Michigan State. Yeah, 49.5. Oh, there's a 50 open. Give me under 50. Under 50 in this one. Next up, we've got Kennesaw State at Wake Forest. And I got to say, I don't want to pull back what I said in the offseason video. I was pretty big on Kennesaw State.
They're going to win the Conference USA. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know about win CUSA, but no question, Kennesaw State got better. And the coolest part about it is the team's going to be completely different. Well, the offense is going to be completely different under Jerry Mack. I'm reading we should expect to see a fast-paced spread offense that throws the ball. That's the exact opposite of what we saw from Kennesaw State last year. They were 14th in rushing frequency, 119th in plays per game. So they're going from a slow-paced run-first offense to a fast-paced pass-first offense. Now, part of the reason they didn't throw the ball last year was they probably just didn't have anyone on the roster that could. Enter Dexter Williams. Are you a fan, Scoop?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. I like Kennesaw's team this year. Sure, they had 2 wins last year in a terrible Conference USA, but they showed some life with a bad team against Liberty, FIU, UTEP, and Sam Houston. They went into overtime both games. This team is not going to be bad this year. Dexter Williams has been around for a while. He has 2 torn ACLs to show for it. So, I mean, he was a high recruit for Indiana for 4 years, didn't play much in his 6 years of college ball, but this is his time now. He's going to show out, I feel. I mean, they lost pieces on their O-line. Their running backs are gone. Some wideouts are gone. But, I mean, with a quarterback, this is going to be a completely different offense. Every receiver on this team had under 300 yards last year. I just feel like this is going to be a huge, just a way different team. And they have 4 new linemen, but I feel like all 4 linemen transfer in are better than what they had. Their defensive line got bigger and stronger. They were really undersized last year. They got pushed around. Our front 7 has improved. And the secondary, I said it before, I wouldn't be surprised if they were in the top half of the Conference USA in terms of pass defense. So, I mean, I would take Kennesaw, the 17.5, but I actually really like the over personally. I mean, on the other side, you have Robbie Ashford taking over for Wake. Desmond Claiborne's still going to be at the running back. And basically, you have brand new receivers and a new O-line, but this O-line, you may say they're all new, but they just took 3 Washington State starting linemen and they're putting them right here. So it's basically just taking it from that team and putting them on this team. So they're going to have the ability to put up points this year too. So I'm not sure how much each team's passing game is going to go, but both quarterbacks can run. I think both are going to scramble and both make some plays. So I think 49.5 is a little too low. I think both – and plus you can't really trust both these defenses yet. Can't really trust Kennesaw in the first place, but they are going to be a better team. I just don't know if it's going to happen right away. I just think I think this is going to be kind of like a 60-point game. I don't see a lot of defense on both sides.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm actually surprised. It looks like the market's bet this total down a little bit. We're down to 50. Yeah. I can get a flat 51. Why? Did you guys not watch what Dickert's Washington State team looked like last year? Every single game was 45-40. Not saying that necessarily immediately translates over to Wake Forest, but if you don't know who I'm talking about, Jake Dickert is the new coach for Wake Forest. He comes from Washington State, and that team was score a bunch of points with Mateer, give up $1 billion. Like every single game was an over, and the way Kennesaw State the way I'm reading Kennesaw State's offense is going to play, you would think 51 is too low. In fact, I'm probably going to bet this right after we're done recording. So I agree. I will offer some pushback just for like content purposes if you're looking for a reason not to bet the over. So I'm sorry. Wait, yeah, 51. There is a flat 51. My bad. I was looking at the wrong menu. So I wouldn't be surprised if Wake Forest defensively takes a big step up this year under Scotty Hazelton. Comes in to coach the defense, and they actually bring back some pieces. Their main tackler there in the secondary, Nick Anderson. They bring back their other safety. 3 linebackers are back. So I think Wake Forest defensively is better than they were last year, but I don't really know if the way Jake Dickert is going to coach this team, if that translates into a great defense. But it is an ACC defense on the road, and we're talking about Kennesaw State. So we can get caught up in what we're expecting to see, but it is still Kennesaw State on the road against an ACC defense. I don't think we should forget that. But I agree. Over would be the way to go. Let's do it. Central Michigan at San Jose State. Scoop, go ahead.
Yeah, I know Kyle's a big Matt Drinkle fan. Was at Army the last 6 years, really developed that run game well. You have to think Central Michigan's going to want to run the ball here. I feel like they could run the ball well. Their offense just last year was just miserable. They couldn't get anything going. It's a whole different offense this year with an experienced quarterback. mostly experienced quarterback and Joe Labas. The problem is it's also a new offense in general. There's just a lot of inexperience, the O-line, the wideouts, the running backs, that I can't really take them. I mean, as the year goes on, I feel like this is going to be a pretty solid run attack. But just opening against San Jose State, I don't think I can take them here. There is a reason why San Jose State is ranked third in the Mountain West this year. First, I mean, their offense is pretty much what all people talked about last year. But San Jose State's defense was awesome for what was expected, and they have good returning production. Jordan Pollard's a menace back there. He's first team Mountain West last year. Latu and McNeil Franklin round out their linebackers, and they still have a really solid D-line, especially with Faga still there. And really, you already know about their offense. They lose their two big wideouts, which is, Nick Nash is a big hit, but their running attack stays. Their O-line's pretty much the same, so I don't think production's going to go down that much. I would be more comfortable in grabbing 10.5 when it opened, but with 13.5, I don't really want San Jose State here either. I like the under in this game. As much as I talked about San Jose State's offense and their defense is built to stop the run, which is going to be Central Michigan's strongest part of their game. So I think they match up well with them. The issue with betting this is Central Michigan's defense is just way better than their offense is going to be. Their safeties are back. Their edges, 3 of their 4 linebackers, they did well in the portal. So, like I said, if this stayed at 10.5, I'd probably grab San Jose State. But you're creeping up to 14. I wouldn't actually be surprised if this went over to 14. But yeah, I like the under here. I think both defenses are going to shut down each other's offense. As good as San Jose State's offense is going to be, I think Central Michigan's going to have a great defense this year. So yeah, I like the under here. I think both sides are going to struggle.
Yeah, I agree. I already talked about this game earlier. Is there's one coach that knows how to stop an option type of offense that we should see from Drinkle here? Wouldn't it be Nima Talolo? He was with Navy for 21 years. I think he's pretty familiar with it. So, yeah, I like Central Michigan, just not necessarily in this matchup. Probably an under. Next up, South Dakota, Iowa State. Scoop. So Scoop picked this game. He sent it to me in the text. I don't know what he's going to say. Are you going to think Matt Campbell comes back flat after Europe?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. You have Iowa State flying back from Ireland after a tough week 1 game, Farmageddon, which you're not allowed to say anything anymore. You're not allowed to call it Farmageddon.
You're not? Why?
I don't know. They said it's not the matchup. That's not what it's called. So, yeah, I don't know. Sloppy week 1 game. I think there was like 45 fumbles, but yeah, you're coming home to play a South Dakota team. I mean, they're number 4 ranked FCS team with a new head coach. Bob Nielsen retired last year from this team, so their DC is now their head coach. But there is a brand new OC in DC. I don't know. I mean, I like South Dakota here. Iowa State could have easily lost that game against K-State. A bunch of weird plays happened. Actually, in the second half, Kansas State kind of just controlled that game, and they just made stupid mistakes. And now you sandwich a hungry South Dakota team right before you have a huge rivalry game like next weekend against Iowa, with the what do they call it? I don't know, but it's the Iowa State game. So it's a trap game, man. South Dakota went to Wisconsin last year, lost by 14, coming off back-to-back double-digit seasons, led the FCS in yards per play last year. South Dakota. They have a quarterback who is all-conference in Bauman, a running back all-conference in Pierre Jr. And Pierre Jr. actually led the country with 7.4 yards per carry. Not only that, they have 6 transfers in from 4 power FBS conferences. So they do lose O-line pieces, wideout pieces, practically their defense. But they have great portal pieces, and the quarterback and running back are such a huge part of this team. I feel like this is going to be a tight game throughout. South Dakota ain't nothing to F with. I mean, I love Iowa State. I just think South Dakota is going to be able to run a bit on them here. So I'm taking a 16. I don't know, man. I just think it's a trap. I do like Iowa State. I do love their quarterback. I do love their head coach. I just think, South Dakota, this is their first game. This is their opener. I feel like they're going to be strong here.
So, I mean, sports betting 101, right? Basic sports betting logic. You take South Dakota here, the big game overseas against the conference opponent, come down against an undervalued FCS program that people don't realize that they're actually pretty good. I get it. I have no idea. The main reason I don't bet FCS is I really don't know how to price the games out. Like 16, I have no idea how to evaluate if that's a fair play. Like I'm not familiar enough with the roster and in comparison to the strength of schedule and stuff. In order for me to get a feel for a team, I have to see how they produce against common opponents and stuff like that. And it's tough with FCS teams because I'm just not too familiar with it. I know that the Dakotas are good though. So yeah, South Dakota or nothing, but I won't be betting this one. And another FCS program, we got Idaho on the road in Pullman. Pullman laying almost 2 touchdowns. Disrespectful to the Vandals, but didn't the Vandals just lose their coach?
Yeah, so if you're looking at this game, I mean, this is really just an FCS versus an FCS game. Washington State's team is half South Dakota State, speaking of the Dakotas, who was awesome in the FCS, but like you just said, Dickert's gone from Washington State, replaced with Jimmy Rogers, who was SDSU's coach, but I mean, yeah, man, it's San Diego State's team for the most part here. All 3 running backs are from San Diego State. Their quarterback is Eckhouse, who is an FCS player. He had most of his career at Bryant. Their wideouts are huge question marks. Only 3 players on the wideouts even have FBS experience. So, yeah, it's a worse line than last year, too. They lost 3.5 starters, replaced by FCS transfers. I just don't see Washington State moving the ball well here. I know their defense is a bit better, but that's just from the talent coming in because their defense is also brand new. So, and their whole secondary is South Dakota State. Seriously, it's 4 starters are from there. 2 of them were first-team All-American. The problem is, the fact is Washington State has 70 new players on their team out of their 100. On the other side, Idaho's coach, like you just said last year, Jason X, now the New Mexico coach. So Idaho did have a 10-4 season last year. We're in the quarterfinals last year. Did you know this is a rivalry, by the way? This is the Battle of the Palouse rivalry. This is actually a rivalry going back to the 1890s. So these campuses are only 8 miles away from each other.
Wow.
Yeah, so no real travel here from Idaho. Going to hop on the bus, go 15 minutes down the road. These 2 teams met 3 years ago in Pullman, where Washington State won by 7. 20 players went to the FBS this year from Idaho. They still return a bunch of good players. It's one of the best backfields in the FCS. They returned 4 of their 5 offensive linemen. They do lose their quarterbacks from last year, but Fresno's quarterback, who played in that bowl game last year, is Joshua Wood, where he played against Northern Illinois. So he has experience. So I think Idaho is going to compete all game. Sorry, Toast. Washington State's offense shouldn't do much, even though Idaho's defense is the question mark. So I just don't believe in Washington State here. This really is just an FCS versus an FCS game. So I'm going to take Idaho. I think Idaho still has the talent to compete here.
If the Cougars lose this game in Pullman, the Toast parents will be they have season tickets. They go to every game. Toast parents, they're Washington State fans. If they lose to Idaho in the opener at home, like awesome. Someone should send them like a condolences card.
Let's go Vandals.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching. See you all tomorrow. All right. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm putting the link in the chat, and I'm also going to put it in the comments. If you're looking for just a video where I go through specifically Friday's games, it's right there with like the stat graphics, the uploads that I do. So that's Fridays right there. I go through the FBS games for Friday if you want to check that out. I'll also put it in the comments of this video if you're watching me say this in the morning. So in the comments of this video will be a link where I go through specifically Friday's FBS games. I go through 7 of them. So yeah, everyone, thanks for watching. Appreciate the support as always. Sean Higgs, appreciate the super chat or the purchase subscriptions. Appreciate it a lot. Let's have a good one. Week 1's off to a fun start. Won some bets. You'll love to see it. Let's keep the positivity rolling.